Well, hello, everyone, and welcome here to Exeter. Nick Anastas, Roger Howe with you, getting set for the 2024 NHIAA Boys Lacrosse Division I semifinal between the top seed Bedford Bulldogs and the Pinkerton Astros. Round 3 between these two teams. Bedford, they captured the first two over Pinkerton in convincing fashion. Week 1 of the season at Bulldog Stadium. Bedford came away with a 13-6 win. They followed that up in the final game of the regular season just weeks ago with a 15-7 victory in Derry. Pinkerton ended up with a 10-8 record. Beat Merrimack in the 4-5 matchup in the quarterfinals. Did that with ease, 13-5. Bedford no problem with Dover in a blowout win, 19-2. Roger, this one, as we know, expected to be physical. And in this postseason spot, records really go out the window. Who knows what may be in store over the next 2 hours?
They do. BG just proved you can beat a team 3 times in one season, and quite handedly and easily. In this game here, it's been a really good couple of battles between these two teams this year. One early on, as you said, a little bit closer than the second one. But we'll talk a little bit more about that after we honor our country.
Yeah, let's go down to the field for the national anthem. And Pinkerton, a very veteran officiating crew on hand tonight. Tim McCaffrey, Tim Bethke, Steve Small, and Rich Poole. This one also features, Roger, two head coaches who know each other very well. Drew Bordeaux, the second-year head coach for Bedford, former St. Anselm headman Steve Gaudreau for Pinkerton. And you factor all that in, plus the fact it's round number 3 between these two teams. X's and O's could be big. Depends on how you look at it. Some like the adage, it's not the X's and O's, but the Jimmies and Joes. But in this one, I have a feeling both head coaches will put their fingerprints on this one before it's said and done.
Yeah, I think you can certainly call it a draw when it comes to coaching talent out there. Steve Gaudreau obviously is the senior coach out there. He's well-rounded. He's been everywhere, high school, college. Started off at high school. I believe he was at Bow High School for a while, and was a member of the Nashua team when they won their state and only championship back in the 90s with Gordy Webb. But, hey, this is going to be the talent. It's going to be who can, per position, dominate this game. And here's the start right here with Riccio and Stengel.
That'll be the matchup to watch at X tonight. Dylan Stingle, the sophomore for Pinkerton. And as you mentioned, Dylan Riccio, the freshman for Bedford. This one ends up out of bounds 13 seconds in and will belong to the Bulldogs.
Yeah, and Riccio really came on late this season as a face-off specialist. He dominated in the Dover game, and he has really found his way. He led the team in ground balls this year as well. So that's a big deal for a freshman, and he's got a great future here.
Here's longtime veteran Derek Kaliza. Ended up second on the Bedford team with, 53 goals scored. And on the other side, well, the Astros really did it by committee more often than not on the attack. Pinkerton looks for a stop here early. Bedford hoping to crack the ice in the first minute with the game's first goal. Behind the cage, Luke Purnell goes across the zone. Up top, it ends up with Helton, who shoots and scores on a step down. 65 seconds in, Bedford lights the lamp and leads 1-0.
Well, this is going to be the Achilles heel for the Astros tonight. If they can't find a way to stop the Helton Matthews train out there at midfield, this could be a very short game. These guys are just powerhouses. They play both ends of the field, and there's Stengel again.
Stengel down the middle. Stengel, bouncer, goes wide and out of play. Bedford going to start Ethan Kahn in net tonight. The sophomore won the job in the offseason over the incumbent, Ian Fletcher. Fletcher, the senior, on his way to LaSalle. Both had pretty good campaigns all in all, but Kahn getting another start tonight under the lights in the semifinals.
Yeah, Stingel's starting off very well for the Astros. Riccio had his number in that that second game, the 15-7 win by the Bulldogs, and Stingle has done what Will McElroy did in that first game. He's figured out Riccio's technique and see how long he can sustain that dominance at the X.
Speaking of the first game, it was Bishop Girton defeating Exeter by a final score of 12-4. The Cardinals back in the state championship. Well, they will look for their fourth straight trophy on Saturday night. Will it be against Pinkerton or Bedford? 2 minutes in here. Astros trailing 1-0. Their first real possession of the game here. Making sure everybody gets a touch as they reverse it to the far side. They're going to try their luck now behind the cage. Both sidelines very active here, very vocal. Well, tempo may be one thing to watch tonight, Roger. I spoke with Eric Copeland, the defensive coordinator for St. Anselm, off air before the game, and he said he'll be looking for Pinkerton to slow it down, whereas Bedford will look to force the action. And based on what we're seeing here on this extended look from Pinkerton, he may be spot on as the Astros look to slow it down.
Yeah, I mean, you can't score without the ball in your stick, and that's one theory of operation that appears to be their MO right now. They're not doing what Exeter did, which was, have unforced errors so far. But look how spread out they are, too.
This possession is already 2.5 minutes old. Here's Benjamin Quintilani. Going to be challenged by Dylan Soden, who comes out to meet him near midfield. Quintilani spins to his left. Knocked down, ball out. No whistle. Quintilani, though, able to recover. That got, again, both benches excited.
Yeah, that's been the buzzword tonight from the officiating is to let him play.
Yeah. Different crew here than what we saw earlier, but seemingly the same MO was sent out.
Yeah. I mean, you had, the top three in the state have been here tonight. And the other officials that have attended these two games are right up there with them.
Yeah, a lot of experience.
Yep. Look at that. Great defense.
Yep. Tried to split dodge, couldn't get it done, and now this one up for grabs. Ends up with Pinkerton. Shot saved by Kahn. A great look there for James Erickson, the senior, on his way to Mars Hill, but Kahn got the better of him there. the sophomore with his first save of the night. Bulldogs get to the ground ball, now come in transition. A pass taken near the cage by Luke Purnell, but he was cut off quickly. And a long shot ends up wide here. It'll stay with Bedford. Here's the the freshman, Sam Berard, who had an outstanding first-year campaign. Finished in the top 3 in several categories, according to Coach Bordeaux.
Nice play.
Operates behind the cage more often than not. Here's a shot and a score. It's Helton again. The sophomore goes upstairs for his second goal early on. Less than 5 minutes in, it's 2-0 in favor of the top seed.
The thing about Brody Helton is he didn't even really move his body. He just received the pass, turned, and just cranked that from a standstill position. I don't even think he stepped forward in that shot. All back, arms, muscle. And there's the first win.
Yep, Riccio. Looking to keep this Bedford momentum going. However, Purnell couldn't handle it. Errant pass ends up out of play, and now Pinkerton ready for the restart with James Caruso, the sophomore. Venturing out of cage. This is Owen Perkins, freshman, who has really gotten better as the year has gone on for Pinkerton. That leads to Jeffrey Gormady, the junior. And Gormady going to come to a stop on that far side wing, shadowed by the midfielder, J.J. Gaffney. Little jab step towards Gaffney. Gaffney not biting. Gaffney will continue his career at the NCAA level locally with Southern New Hampshire University. Meanwhile, we've hit the midway point, first quarter. Pinkerton trying to get on the board. The cutter was there, the pass a little long, backed up by Quintilani. Then his pass is knocked down and taken away. Good read by Spencer Henrishon, the long pole. Henrishon, eye on the cage, going to fire, and Perkins saw that one the whole way. First save for the freshman. Meanwhile, Pinkerton trying to get something going in transition. It's not there. And Matt Gormady will pull it back out.
I think if Henrishon had that one back, he would have played the fast break the way it's supposed to be played there. Way too far out.
Meanwhile, shot, score, and a penalty flag. Adam Scala, the senior on his way to Keene State, slipped free, put it home over Kahn, took a pop, and 2 flags came out immediately.
Well, I thought that was going to be a personal foul. They have waved that one off as well.
Yep.
I am 0 for how many? That's 0 for 6 tonight, I think. I am not doing well.
No, I would say 0 for 1.
Well, I'm counting the first game because.
So Adam Scala looked pretty good there. A fearless take to get Pinkerton on the board.
Yeah, good play by Pinkerton. All right, they're going to run him right over here.
Got a whistle.
Nope, keep him in the box. Yep. Pinkerton win.
Yep, they're going to give it to Pinkerton. That's 3 out of 4 early.
Oh, he's going to walk.
Scala, shot, not happening. The 5-hole snap shut by Kahn. Third save already for the young sophomore. Meanwhile, the clear is on point as Soden takes it over midfield for Bedford. 5 minutes, first quarter. Bulldogs looking to recapture a 2-goal lead. Helton has scored both, and the sophomore has got it in his stick now. Coach Bordeaux flashing the signals. Bordeaux slowing this one down to a crawl. Coming on is Kevin Master de Casa for the first time for Bedford. That's a wide offering. Shot from deep. Purnell was set for the restart. Yeah, got overruled by the official along the baseline.
Yeah, that looks like Tim McCaffrey overruled Steve Small down low.
So this one belongs to Pinkerton. One of their top defenders, sophomore Brendan Carney, puts it in play. Going to use Perkins. Freshman goalie going to jog out of the net. Looking for someone to get open. Yeah. Rainbow pass down the middle. Collected by Cole Summers. Summers stumbles, keeps his balance, comes to his left. Long pass, hauled in by Cody Santamassimo. Santamassimo trying to find some room. Going to circle back, take a breath, and get rid of it as Erickson takes over. Pinkerton looking to tie the game with 4 minutes to go here in this first quarter. Two Gormadies out on the field, along with Scala, who's behind the net for Pinkerton. And back to the top for Quintilani. Again, the Astros looking to slow this thing down. Already had a possession in this first quarter that lasted nearly 3 minutes.
Pretty standard set here, too. They've been in a 2-2 for the most part. Playing wide.
Yep.
And that's a miss.
Errant pass. Summers trying to scramble. Does get there in the corner.
Oh.
Here's a cutter.
Oh.
Gormady paid the price. Got leveled there by Helton. The ball is out, and it's back with Bedford. Well, Helton.
He did not move.
The clean hit there.
He did not move.
Looked like a football player for sure. He led Division I in rushing last fall.
Oh,
another hit.
That's from behind. Oh.
It's Zach Baker laid the wood. The officials let him play. This first quarter is taking kind of an old school tone here. Another big hit at midfield, but a timeout first from Coach Bordeaux.
Wow.
He's got both sidelines fired up as the players have come to hit tonight, Roger. 2-1 Bedford with a timeout inside of 3 minutes remaining first quarter.
Well, you generally do not hear me complain about a physical game. And both games tonight, this one included, now that it's, almost 8 minutes in, been physical. I thought Master DeCasa got a clear push, if not cross-check along the back there. But, hey, I'd rather see him play than have the box full. So we'll go with that, and I'll not complain. Try not to complain. I'm already getting texts from other officials, so.
Well, we saw plenty of hits in the first game as well. What ended up being a 12-4 victory for Bishop Girton over Exeter. The officials let them play in that one. We saw a total of 4 penalties before it was all said and done, but so far in this one, plenty of hits, and nobody has served any time in the penalty box, at least not yet, with inside of 3 minutes to go in this first quarter.
No, and like you said, the 4 penalties, 3 on BG, 1 on Exeter, they were all technicals. I think 3 out of those 4 could have been personal fouls, but they backed off. And let's not forget about the ones they waved off, too.
Yeah. Bedford back at it after the timeout. Coach Bordeaux has issued the instructions. It ends up with a shot from up top. Didn't quite get through cleanly, it didn't look like.
No, and I don't think that's where they want Kalisa shooting that. They want him down in along the, like the 15, 17 on that wing, not that far out, and that's a bad play.
Yeah, Helton got harried.
Oh, good hustle.
Alec Henry closed out and may have forced the effort, but Kalisa, with some extra hustle, pays off, keeps it inbounds for Bedford. Oh, Matthews going to light the lamp. The sophomore who led the team in scoring this season with 55 goals. Adds another to his total here. That one had some smoke trails following it. 3-1 Bulldogs.
I won't tell you what the name of that play is, but this is what they like to do with Matthews. They want to start him off at the top, which they did at the beginning of that sequence, and he ends up on that far wing with Kalisa being the backup, and that just pays off so many times for them.
Face-off win for the Astros.
Yeah. Big turnaround here this go-around.
It's that 4-1?
Yeah. Yep, 4-1.
Meanwhile, Scala, a little jab step. Sets up Matt Gormady behind the cage. Again, the Astros look to settle in here on the attack. Final minute 45, first quarter. I know it's kind of unconventional, but could they be thinking last shot here, Roger, based on what we've seen?
I don't think so.
Quintilani is going to answer that question with a low shot.
Yeah, go to the rack here. You got a minute and a half? Sure.
Kahn with the save. Outlet for Matthews, but pass gets away from Alex Kortnar before it's scooped up off the ground by Purnell.
Now you might see a last shot scenario here. If they can pop one here and go in 4-1.
Final minute 15.
Yeah.
Helton in no hurry here. Looks over at the bench.
Got a man coming.
Helton's got 2 of the 3 for Bedford.
Nice. Right, back in 1-4 for the Dogs.
Purnell behind the cage.
This is their zone beater, Nick. Pinkerton's in zone right now on defense. Bad play.
Tried to go backdoor to Purnell. It's off target. Pinkerton forces the turnover. 49 seconds to go.
They don't like the look of this ride. They're going to get over.
This is Henry. He's finally met by Purnell.
Now they're set.
Here's Perkins.
Ooh, that's what you want to see.
Rainbow pass gets away.
You could see that trap ride for the attack was not in place at the start of that. When Kaliza was doubled up on the far side there and got back in position, this is what forced the goalie into that long pass because the time is ticking. They got to get it over there.
Final 30 seconds.
Ooh.
Meanwhile, Bedford.
They got to launch one here, too.
Yep.
Come on.
Astros sag back to midfield. This is the long pole, Kevin Sheridan. And his pass is off target, but was that tipped, Roger?
It looked like it was tipped.
So
they're going to give it. Yeah, it was tipped.
Yep. It's going to stay with Bedford inside of 15 seconds.
Yeah, they got a rack here.
Kaliza behind the cage. Purnell. Challenged by Santa Massimo.
That's a
up
shot.
Top, it is a shot and a score for Derek Kaliza with just over 2 seconds remaining.
Wow.
Well, they execute well. In these kind of end-of-quarter situations, they do it here to make it 4-1.
They have done that a number of times this year with just their presence and ability to scope out opportunities from behind the net. Just a good play.
So 2.3 seconds remaining.
Give Soden the assist on that?
I believe so.
Yep.
That'll do it for the first quarter.
Our broadcast today, as it always is brought to you by Beals Insurance Agency, with locations now in both Bedford and Londonderry. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, Beals Insurance will get you both the price and quality coverage that's right for you. Just call 603-471-9999 or visit BealsInsurance.com to request a free quote and start saving money today. Again, that's BealsInsurance.com. The New Hampshire Tomahawks promote the highest level of club lacrosse competition, not just in the state, but in the country. Looking to get recruited? Director Chris Cameron keeps an open dialogue with the nation's top college lacrosse coaches. Over 400 New Hampshire Tomahawks alumni have played at the college level, including the ACC, Big East, Big Ten, Ivy, NESCAC, NE10, and more. The New Hampshire Tomahawks coaching staff has over 100 coaches, including current high school varsity and college coaches. The Tomahawks offer training for players of all ages, clinics, camps, and leagues, along with spring, summer, and fall elite teams. So play with the best. The New Hampshire Tomahawks, showcase and development for college lacrosse. Visit NewHampshireTomahawks.com and girls.nhtomahawks.com. How can you reach your team's fundraising goals at no risk and no cost? MG Sports offers a variety of products to make your team's fundraiser a success. Their products include tickets and discount cards to hundreds of local businesses. MG Sports now has a digital platform where athletes can raise funds in the comfort and safety of their own home. So become another lacrosse program like Bedford, Goffstown, or Memorial that sets fundraising records every season. MG Sports, fundraising made easy. Visit mgsportsfundraising.com to start raising money for your team today.
Top seed Bedford, fresh off a 16-1 regular season campaign, looking to get to their first Division I state championship game. And so far, so good if you're a Bulldog fan. 4-1 after one.
Yeah, a little bit different start for the both teams there. Stronger start for Pinkerton. That last game that they played here towards the end of the season, actually the last game of the season period in NHIAA and Division I, 5-2 was the first quarter score in favor of Bedford. So we're not far off that pace. But what I do like that I see out of the Astros tonight is Stengel, holding his own there at the X. According to my score sheet from that final game, they were neck and neck in faceoffs in the first quarter, 4-4. But then that second quarter is when things started to change. They brought in O'Toole to take some faceoffs, and they brought in what's his name? I can't pronounce it. Sarasanos, the other face-off specialist for the Astros, to try and equalize Riccio's dominance, and it did actually work. He did get a couple of them there, but as long as Pinkerton can equalize that face-off battle, I think, and kind of keep the Bulldogs from getting as many possessions as they did in that last game, this could be a better outcome for them.
Well, it seems like that is the strategy, right? Win as many at X as you can, and then try to maximize the length of each offensive possession. We seemingly saw that at times in that first quarter from Pinkerton.
Yeah, they started off that way.
Yeah.
That's what they started off doing, and it can work as long as you're not throwing the ball away.
All right, second quarter. Nick Anastas, Roger Howe with you. Everything delayed due to rain earlier today. Rain, thunder, and lightning pushed the start of the Exeter BG contest back over 100 minutes. And thus a late start time here in game number 2 of this semifinal doubleheader. Face-off. Pinkerton won 4 of the 5 in the first quarter. Bedford going to win this one. Helton gets to the ground ball. Team switching ends, of course. Bedford going to work right to left here. Coach Bordeaux again trying to direct the offense from the home sideline.
Riccio won that clean, too, Nick. He just didn't get the ground ball.
Meanwhile, it's Matthews and Helton. What a combo they've been. 2 classmates, sophomores with bright futures, not just in the springtime with lacrosse, but 2 of the key members of the football team, the D1 champs in 2023.
They're bringing up a close defender, Carney, on Matthews.
Matthews going to shoot on the run in the face of a second defender.
Let's see what they do here.
The shot ends up wide.
Yep, they're going to. Matthews
trying to punch their ticket for the first time to a D1 final. Of course, they brought home the bacon, Roger. You know all about that years ago at the D2 level. And Pinkerton, for a very long time under former head coach Brian O'Reilly, they were the standard in Division I, hoping to get back to the championship where they were last year. Fell short in the end of the Cardinals.
Wow.
Meanwhile, Helton lost his stick. That's got the Pinkerton bench fired up. Astros go up the field very quickly. It's Richard Wong, one of the co-captains. Going to slow it down, though, as Coach Gaudreau looks to direct this trip here on the attack for Pinkerton. But a big hit, and that sometimes, Roger, can turn the tide.
Well, it was a great stick check. Another lazy attempt to start the offense by the Bulldogs, and they paid the price again.
Now Pinkerton. They tested Ethan Kahn pretty early in the game, Roger, with 3 shots on goal, but I don't believe we've seen one so far here in this second quarter.
Nothing.
Coming up on the 5-minute mark.
Nothing. But this is also indicative of a very, very solid Bedford defense. I mean, they're 3 close defenders, and then Riccio in the LSM slot. They're just locked down sometimes. And then you throw Helton and Matthews out there as 2-way midfielders, and you got yourself a pretty good backdrop of defense there.
Yeah.
Such is the case here.
You mentioned Kerr, Sheridan, Henrishon, and Riccio, the long stick. What'd you call them, the 4 horsemen?
4 horsemen, I did.
It's a great nickname. Meanwhile, Gormity was stripped on the release. Loose ball far side.
Big hack.
And ultimately, it's Pinkerton's Erickson who gets to it. Astros looking for a goal, trailing big, 7-1.
Give Pinkerton credit there. They are moving around and they're getting bodies in motion.
There's a shot. Erickson paid the price. Kahn with his 4th save. Meanwhile, on the move, Matthews for Kaliza.
One more.
Extra pass.
There
the
it is.
trailer is
Yep.
Matthews, and he cashes in. Well, that's now 6 unanswered by the Bulldogs, 4 in this second quarter. Matthews has punched his ticket twice, and it's now 8-1 Bedford with 4:17 to go until halftime.
I liked everything that Pinkerton did on that possession offensively. They were patient. They kept the ball in, on their side of the field, but the end result was a very, very weak shot outside. Kahn's going to pick up on that all the time. Great clear, great fast break on the Bulldog side. That's a push.
Riccio paid the price.
Still no possession here.
Yep.
There it is. Oh,
He stepped over the line. Offsides on Barad?
I don't think so. I'll watch that tape tonight.
It's going to stay with Bedford.
Yep, so he couldn't have gone. I don't know what the call was.
I don't know what the whistle was, but either
Should
way,
have been a play on then.
it belongs to the Bulldogs. Inside of 4 minutes now until halftime. Bedford's been in control this entire first half.
Double and a push.
Barad hit from behind. Still no whistle. Physical play here in this first half continues. A big pig pile in the corner. This time a push is called, and it will stay at this end. A lot of bodies on this wet turf here in this first half for both teams. Matthews being hacked at. Gives it over to Helton.
All right, watch the wing play here. This is a set play.
Well, Helton just goes right by the defender, offers
Bad
a low
shot.
to high shot, goes high.
Yeah, bad shot selection there. He should have been overhand. He didn't need to go low high there. He had all the room in the world in his right hand.
There's Barad. Very comfortable behind the cage. Freshman gets it back. Goal line extended.
Watch the skip here.
Ronan Connors is the defender. Shot, save Perkins. That's his fourth stop. Long outlet, collected at midfield,
Oh, no, good luck.
and it's intercepted. Alex Courtnor able to close the gap quickly. The long pole reeled it in, comes up with the clear. Now Barad battling with Connors. Going to pull it back out under the direction of Coach Bordeaux.
Yeah, Alex Cottonor has come a long way this season, and he's seen more and more minutes as the season has progressed, and he's going to be a comer for them next year as a senior.
Made a good play there. Here's a shot on the move. A bouncer from Gaffney is wide.
Yeah, this defense that on average gave up 6.5 goals a game for Bedford, they're losing those three of the four horsemen as seniors, so they're going to need some muscle in there.
Spin move.
Oh, one-handed.
Yep.
There it is. Oh,
Bouncer for Barad, a little wide. Would have been a pretty assist there for Matthews.
Sure would have. And almost a one-handed goal by Barad.
Coming up on 2 minutes to go until halftime. Coming up at halftime, stats, highlights, analysis, and a recap of BG's win over Exeter. All that and more coming up at the break.
Good luck.
Backdoor,
beauty.
Barad. Great pass. Barad going to slam it home for his second. And this Bedford streak continues as they're starting to really look good here. The top seed out in front 9-1.
And you know what? I haven't said this all season about a Bedford team. Their attack has taken over. This has been an attack game in the second quarter for the most part, with the exception of Matthews' goal. That's good equalization of your offensive attack if you can get everybody involved like that and not depend on your two guys. O'Toole.
A win for O'Toole. Bedford looking to keep the momentum going as we're inside now the final 100 seconds of this first half. The Bulldogs have rattled off 7 unanswered goals.
Oh, look.
Helton out in front. Kaliza step down, shot and score.
Wow.
Pretty play there. Almost looks scripted. 10-1 Bedford.
Well, I can't tell you how many times Kaliza has scored from that same spot this season. That's a sweet spot for him. And in my last little blurb there about the attack, I was about to say, we haven't heard from Kaliza. He got a goal in the last goal of the first quarter, but he really hadn't even seen the ball. He hadn't touched the ball in the second quarter.
He's picked his spots, and he's picked them well. 2 goals in this first half for the senior, who's really, Roger, been a staple of this group going back several seasons.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he started as a freshman or not, but he's been
start
around
as a
so
freshman.
long that he's one of those guys you think graduated already.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, I think he's probably, and I know somebody's going to correct me because I'll get this wrong, but I think he's lost 15 to 20 pounds over that course of the last 3 years, and he's really got himself into great shape.
Looks quick.
Great lacrosse shape, and his skill level has just multiplied every year, and I talk to Matthew about it all the time, and especially in the Winter League, what he's done in the Winter Leagues to make himself better.
Had an outstanding regular season, second on the squad with 53 goals.
Yeah.
2 more tonight. Bedford rolling here late in this first half, 10-1. Final minute. Pinkerton looking to save a little face before halftime and get another. Quintilani going to jog behind the cage.
He's got a shorty, which is what they want.
Draws a slide, and now a long pole picks him up. That's Henrishon.
Folks, watch how the recovery on the slide happens with the Bedford Bulldogs. They are so in sync on their defense. This is something that the Blue Hawks did not do well in their game.
Matt Gormady looks for a cutter. It gets through, intended for Summers.
Clogged him.
Long scrambling to the far side, but can't get there. Ball out of bounds, less than 14 seconds remaining.
All right, watch for the launch here.
Oh, Bedford doesn't look too aggressive here. Soden going to hold on to it. Look for somebody in the middle. It's knocked down. Now the ball is loose at midfield, and that's going to bring us to halftime. The top seed in control here in the semifinals. Bedford, a 10-1 lead at the break, as they have put on a clinic at times throughout this first half. Astros look to regroup in the locker room, Roger, down by 9.
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised at this score. Bedford, it looks pretty sharp. They looked a bit lazy, which is traditional for them. And I got to tell you, it's going to be tough for Pinkerton to get back into this thing if they can't start controlling the ball a little better. They actually looked a little bit sloppy there on their clears in this first half. I got them 3 for 7 on clears. That's not good. We all know how well Bedford can ride, so that has a lot to do with it too. Don't want to take anything away from the Bulldogs,
of course.
Okay, but they need to sharpen up on some things.
Coming up in just a few moments, a recap of that first half, stats, highlights, analysis, and a recap of Bishop Girton and Exeter as well. Don't go away. More in a moment. 10-1 Bedford at halftime over Pinkerton. You are watching the 2024 NHIAA Boys Lacrosse Semifinals right here on Friday Night Lights, New Hampshire, broadcasting in conjunction with the NHIAA Network.
Our broadcast today, as it always is brought to you by Beals Insurance Agency, with locations now in both Bedford and Londonderry. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, Beals Insurance will get you both the price and quality coverage that's right for you. Just call 603-471-9999 or visit BealsInsurance.com to request a free quote and start saving money today. Again, that's BealsInsurance.com. The New Hampshire Tomahawks promote the highest level of club lacrosse competition, not just in the state, but in the country. Looking to get recruited? Director Chris Cameron keeps an open dialogue with the nation's top college lacrosse coaches. Over 400 New Hampshire Tomahawks alumni have played at the college level, including the ACC, Big East, Big Ten, Ivy, NESCAC, NE10, and more. New Hampshire Tomahawks coaching staff has over 100 coaches, including current high school varsity and college coaches. The Tomahawks offer training for players of all ages, clinics, camps, and leagues, along with spring, summer, and fall elite teams. So play with the best. The New Hampshire Tomahawks, showcase and development for college lacrosse. Visit NewHampshireTomahawks.com and girls.nhtomahawks.com. How can you reach your team's fundraising goals at no risk and no cost? MG Sports offers a variety of products to make your team's fundraiser a success. Their products include tickets and discount cards to hundreds of local businesses. MG Sports now has a digital platform where athletes can raise funds in the comfort and safety of their own home. So become another lacrosse program like Bedford, Goffstown, or Memorial that sets fundraising records every season. MG Sports, fundraising made easy. Visit mgsportsfundraising.com to start raising money for your team today.
Halftime here in Exeter. Bedford with a commanding lead over Pinkerton, 10-1, as we get set to start the third quarter. Nick Anastas, Roger Howe with you here in this 2024 Division I Boys Lacrosse Semifinal on Friday Night Lights, New Hampshire, in conjunction with the NFHS Network. Bedford, the top seed after a 16-1 regular season, hoping to advance to the Division I championship game for the first time in program history. They got off on the right foot. Brady Helton scored the first 2 goals in the first 5 minutes. Pinkerton's Adam Scala scored the lone Astro goal midway through the first quarter. But Bedford closed out the first half with an 8-0 run. Bennett Matthews, Derek Kaliza. That was late in the first quarter. Kaliza with less than 2 seconds remaining made it 4-1. Second quarter, Kevin Sheridan, the defender, with an interception and then a goal, made it 5-1. Freshman Sam Barad made it 6-1. Luke Purnell 7-1. Matthews, Barad, Kaliza again in that order brought us to halftime, and here we are at the beginning of this third quarter. Bedford a commanding 10-1 lead. And Pinkerton going to have to do it from behind.
Wow.
Throughout this second half, and not quite the start that Coach Gondro was hoping for as his team
Not at all.
turns it over.
Not at all. They win the face-off, and the pursuit by the Bulldogs at midfield between the boxes is so intense that they run out of time to get a touch.
Pinkerton's actually had the advantage at the face-off X, but have not been able to capitalize. Similar to what we saw from Exeter earlier tonight against Bishop Girton. Saved by Perkins, by the way. The freshman, it's like took it on the left thigh. Another save for Perkins. I've got him for 5 unofficially.
I'll go with that. I'll second that.
Meanwhile, Barad draws a double team. Scored in a similar fashion back in the first half. That kind of wraparound shot. He tried to make it work here, but it goes wide. He's backed up, though, by Purnell, who's going to get the restart here in the near corner.
Yeah, I actually have this a dead heat at face-off right now. I don't know where your numbers come or where you're at. Not that you're wrong or I'm right, but, I mean, it's O'Toole made the difference in that second quarter.
What do you got it at, 6-6?
I got him at 7-7.
7-7, excuse me.
Yep. Which I think the math works.
Yep. Meanwhile, Helton going to pull it back out.
Now he goes.
Here he comes. The sophomore,
nice save.
Perkins. Read that one well. The ball flies up into the night sky and ends up out of bounds on the far side. Well, earlier tonight it was Bishop Girton. The defending champs took care of Exeter by a final score of 12-4. Cardinals led by as many as 10 in that one and ended up cruising to a wire-to-wire win. Cardinal defense forced a number of turnovers. And the attack, despite being short-handed, certainly looked fluid tonight. They'll look for their 4th straight D1 title on Saturday against the winner of this one.
Yeah, I think the Bulldogs would like to see the the middies get a little more involved. Here's J.J. Gaffney on the 4th.
Helton lets it fly.
Yeah.
And when deep 16 meters out, ends up wide. Again, Purnell is there on the backside to keep it at this end.
Yeah. This is their twos offense.
We saw a number of different looks on the attack right in that first half from Bedford.
We did, yes, and it was all programmed. They have they've done a good combination of switching up between program sets and just letting their boys freelance. I'm not seeing a lot of freelancing right now. They're trying to get balls in certain spots, and I think most of the concentration right now is going to be getting it into 13 and 19's hand, like you see right here.
Here's Matthews. 2 goals in that first half. Of course, number 19 is his classmate, Helton, who also scored 2. Here is Helton. Going to backpedal far side.
Yep.
The defender, Baker, awaits. He's going to go by Baker to the middle.
Yep.
Jump shot, score.
Yep. This is what they do, Nick. This is what they do.
Great placement on the bouncer. Bedford up 11-1.
Yeah, this is how they handle, or how they just maneuver their offense into certain spots, and it's almost like the reverse sets, getting him on the wing, getting him up top, getting him in certain spots where there's a matchup where Matthews or Brody are on a short stick midfielder and not the pole, and this is just they just do a wonderful job of this.
2.5 in, Bedford leads by double digits for the first time. Face-off won by Riccio. Riccio still out there. He's going to hook up with Purnell on the far side, and now the junior is going to slow it down.
They're going to let Riccio stay out there. Way out there. Like, don't come back to the bench.
He's about as far away as you can get.
We want to play 5-on-5 with our middies in our attack, or our 2 stud midfielders.
Yeah, now Stingle's going to sprint back towards midfield for Pinkerton. On comes Riccio. Bedford's essentially got a man up here for the moment, and now the sub does get back in.
They were going to let him take that shot, Nick.
That was Rice and Mishud, who is now on defense.
Oh, look at this.
Wow. A quick catch and release for Matthews. He's got the hat trick, and that may have gone 5-hole.
It did. It absolutely did.
So Helton with 3, Matthews now with 3, and Bedford is really threatening to blow this one open. The postseason rules, Roger, as we talked about off air, once the deficit grows to 12, we get a running clock, and Bedford certainly threatening to keep that clock ticking.
Exactly. I feel bad for the Pinkerton defense there. They got confused. Riccio pulled out, going 5-on-5 as an offensive set. That's a violation on O'Toole this time.
Stingle will take it and shoot. That one ends up a little wide. You could hear, I think, the head of the goaltender's stick collide with the pipe there. An effort from Kahn. Meanwhile, this one is dropped by Scala. That allows Gaffney to close in, and now it's up for grabs.
No, that's
Kerr in the mix. Excuse me, not Gaffney, but Kerr. Ultimately, though, it's Scala for Pinkerton who gets a hold of it. And now off the screen, they're going to work it back near side and slow it down.
Kerr is heading to Lemoyne, a Division I team now. They just moved up from D2. Big save there by Kahn.
And Kahn has looked good. That's his 5th stop. And a quick outlet as well to Helton as Bedford looks for the clear.
But just to finish up my comment about Kerr, he has got some of the best check sequences I have seen in a defender in quite some time.
Matthews shot Perkins with a chest-eye save. The freshman was ready that time.
Wow, you can't build
outlet,
your clear
though,
on
is
that.
intercepted.
Not good.
Picked off in Bedford territory by Henrishon. The defenseman is going to keep it. The senior finally does get it off to Purnell, and now behind the cage for Barad. Personnel changes both ways here with nearly 5 minutes gone by in this third quarter. Barad's got some good footwork. Tried to set up Matthews there, but Matthews goes a little wide. Purnell will restart.
Yeah, and he's smart, too, because the defender had his back to Matthews streaking in down the side there. And Barad, just as you said, he was smooth and he just waited.
Here's another drop step. Comfortable with his back to the cage. And speaking of back stepping, how about back pedaling here is Gaffney. Now he wants a running start. Coming at the defender.
Takes the slide.
Yep. And a big collision here as Brendan Carney comes over, laid into him. Gaffney gets it back, looks to feed on the weak side. Little stop and start by Helton, who's going to ultimately pull it out on the wing. Approaching the midway point, third quarter. Bedford in the driver's seat, threatening to get a running clock. Meanwhile, Helton took a shot.
He took a big one.
Unexpected there. The hit delivered by Alec Henry, senior on his way to St. Joseph's. Now Henry takes the outlet. Hearing the footsteps was Jeff Gormady that may or may not have caused him to drop it.
They got numbers.
And it's a mistake as Bedford takes over. Kaliza, though, not going to push the transition.
No.
Now does find Helton, who winds up and lets a blast go wide. It'll be backed up by Barad, and we'll stay with Bedford 6 minutes into this third quarter.
Yeah, Bedford looks calm right now. They look calm and collected, not really making any errors. Couple errant passes, but they're recovering, like here's that one.
Yep, Purnell. Good play by Kerr to poke it. But ultimately, the Astros end up with it. Santamassimo down the middle, stumbles, fires. Kahn with the save, a flag flies, and this one blown dead.
Yeah, this might actually be the first personal foul of the entire evening.
First penalty of any kind. We saw one waved off back in the first half, but this one will stand. It's going to go against Kerr.
For a trip. That's the delayed trip call from the first game. Sorry, boys.
that controversial call, obviously sticking with my partner here from the Exeter BG game.
Phantom trip call that turned into a hold. I'm sorry.
Not sure that would have mattered in the outcome. It was 12-4 the final. As the Cardinals dominated wire to wire. Also in D2, we've got that matchup now official, right?
Yeah.
As Portsmouth knocked off Timberlane and Derryfield took care of Winnicott. So another chapter in that rivalry between the Clippers and Cougars coming up in Division 2 on Saturday.
Only thing we haven't heard from is D3. Not too keen on what's going on with D3 right now. Would love to hear some noise out there.
Coming up at 5 minutes to go, third quarter. Astros looking for their second goal of the game.
No movement.
Here's a shot.
But no movement.
Step down from Matt Gormady, ends up wide.
You know, even back to Coach O'Reilly's days when they were on man up, man, there was a lot of motion, a lot of 3-on-2s on the corners. Big hit by
Soden stifled the shot. Kahn behind the cage, examining his options. And what do we have here?
I think he took too long in the crease. He had a millennium in the crease. He got allowed 4 seconds. He was kind of.
Meanwhile, we are back to man up. I'm sorry, back to even strength. Because that's the end of the Pinkerton man up. Bedford successfully kills off the penalty. Meanwhile, a deep shot there from Quintilani ends up wide. Scala will restart. He scored the lone Pinkerton goal back in the first quarter. Takes a pretty good blow from Soden. Shakes off Soden. Comes back around. Extra pass. Gets away from Quintilani. Johnny on the spot, though, for Pinkerton is Matt Gormady.
I love the set they were in there. They were in 1-4 with the ball behind, and they had an opportunity and just a missed pass. Nice
Scala
play.
Shot swallowed up by Kahn.
Ethan is seeing the ball tonight, man.
He sure is. Unofficially, a half a dozen saves.
There's been a couple of saves he's made that I thought were definite goals by the Astros, and he has risen right up.
It was kind of a controversial decision to begin the year. He beat out a very good incumbent in Ian Fletcher. Senior on his way to LaSalle, but Kahn has shown you why he caught Coach Bordeaux's attention in the offseason.
Yes, and I mean, Coach Howe, who was a goalie his entire career, he talks about him all the time. And let's not take anything away from Ian. Ian started the second Exeter game and played the entire game.
Right.
And I said, why did you put in Fletcher after Kahn's been on this run? And they said, because he's a lefty. We just wanted to switch it up and confuse Exeter, and they did.
Here's another good save by Kahn's counterpart. It's Perkins. He's got 8 saves of his own unofficially. Meanwhile, Baker at midfield throws an interception. Henrishon read it like a book. The senior going to keep his pole out in front. And I believe we have a timeout. Yes, we do. Coach Bordeaux going to help out his defender. It'll stop the clock with inside of 3 minutes to go in this third quarter. Bedford in the driver's seat by a score of 12-1.
So I just pulled my card out from that second Pinkerton Bedford game over at Astro Stadium. And one of the keys to that game that I remember chatting to a number of people about were the clears. And Pinkerton's clear was atrocious, 11 for 21 in that game. Okay, they are on that same path right now. I have them at unofficially. I have them at 3 for 9. Okay, so not a whole lot better than what they had before. I mean, actually worse by percentages. But Bedford's just being relentless, and this is something we have talked about pretty much all year. So. Good time out here for Bedford. Get your defender there who took the ball all the way down to the end line and give him a little bit of a rest and kind of regroup here. And as you come out of this third quarter, kind of set the stage for the fourth and what we're going to do here.
Of course, the winner will face Bishop Girton on Saturday, 5 o'clock. Roger and I will be right here at Bill Ball Stadium for that call.
You couldn't. There's virtually nothing that's going to keep me away from Bill Ball Stadium.
Well, I have a feeling you may sleep over the night before.
Billy said I can get, he's got a cot in the old AD office down there, downhill, so I might just do that.
Of course, John Barron and I will be busy over at Fisher Cat Stadium on Saturday, part of a quadruple header, championship action, divisions 1 through 4.
Ooh.
I will call those first 2 games and then properly make my way over to join up with you here at Bill Ball Stadium.
Boy, baseball, huh? I used
Balls
to
and strikes,
baseball.
right?
I used to love baseball, man, and then the Red Sox just, man.
They ruined it for you, huh? All right, play resumes coming out of the timeout. Big lead on the board for the Bulldogs, 12-1. Of course, they took care of Dover in blowout fashion in the quarterfinals.
Now, that game was over in the first 6.5 minutes, unfortunately, for Dover.
Ended up being 19-1.
19
Still a
to
good 19-2. Excuse me.
Oh, yeah. Oh, nice
Boy,
save.
Parkins, I'm telling you. Cat quick on that one to his left. Makes his 9th stop.
Yep, I concur with that number. And
he's going to jog out here.
They don't.
Long outlet. Up in the air, intercepted. Picked off by Sam Durso. Long stick midi getting some action here. And a pretty good pass on the clear attempt as well. Did it in front of 2 Pinkerton defenders. Helton on the reception. Going to slow it down to a crawl on the far side wing. We're down to our final $1.45 here in the third quarter.
Yeah, anybody that played lacrosse in my – wow.
Kaliza.
Yep, Kaliza from –
lights the lamp. He's got the hat trick. Now, 3 different players with 3 goals apiece for Bedford. Kaliza, Matthews, and Helton.
Yeah, crazy.
And that also, Roger, should trigger the running clock here.
That is my understanding. We shall see at the beginning of this face-off. But not a good night on the clears. When you start seeing the goalie, Gilman, the ball like that, Gilman is a launch pad of a pass to get it out of your own zone. That's not a good sign.
Meanwhile, Riccio wins another. Final 90 seconds. The Fogo is still on the field. Trying to find some breathing room. And still going to keep it. Swings it back around. Coach Bordeaux brings on Evan Capello for the first time. The junior getting some action. He's met by Nathan Smith, freshman defender on the field for Pinkerton. Got some newcomers out there for the Astros. James Caruso is going to get to this ground ball. And now it's Nate Smith coming down the middle. Astros
nice
looking
play.
for transition.
Oh, and it goes
shot. I thought it bounced in and then back out.
It did not. It hit it rolled back towards the post and hit Kahn in the back of his leg.
Yeah.
But a good clear there for Pinkerton. Let's not lose sight of that.
Right.
So now they got the good clear.
Right, really the only transition opportunity we've seen for the Astros. Meanwhile, Bedford trying to make them pay. Purnell, wraparound shot, ends up wide.
That had some backspin on it, Nick, and that's what exactly happened. But from up here, it looked like it did go in. I'll agree with you there.
Yeah. Tough for us up here in the booth without the benefit of replay. The audience, though, I'm sure took another look. Meanwhile, Perkins sends that one back, and now we've got a scrap out in front. Final 5 seconds of the third quarter. Bedford gets to the ground ball. This is Matthews coming middle. He wants one more. He's going to whirl it and maybe beat the clock, did he? Yes, he did.
Yep.
Wow.
Official Bethke gives it to him with zeros across the board.
The fourth for Matthews, and he ends the third quarter on a high note for the Bedford Bulldogs. The top seed blowing out Pinkerton. 14-1 after 3. Matthews with an exclamation point there.
So, yeah, the rule is if the shot leaves the cross before the buzzer, or even at the buzzer, my mistake there, it counts if it goes in.
Very similar to basketball.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. 12 minutes in regulation, running clock, we believe. And a 14-1 lead on the board.
Our broadcast today, as it always is brought to you by Beals Insurance Agency, with locations now in both Bedford and Londonderry. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, Beals Insurance will get you both the price and quality coverage that's right for you. Just call 603-471-9999 or visit BealsInsurance.com to request a free quote and start saving money today. Again, that's BealsInsurance.com. The New Hampshire Tomahawks promote the highest level of club lacrosse competition, not just in the state, but in the country. Looking to get recruited? Director Chris Cameron keeps an open dialogue with the nation's top college lacrosse coaches. Over 400 New Hampshire Tomahawks alumni have played at the college level, including the ACC, Big East, Big Ten, Ivy, NESCAC, NE10, and more. New Hampshire Tomahawks coaching staff has over 100 coaches, including current high school varsity and college coaches. The Tomahawks offer training for players of all ages, clinics, camps, and leagues, along with spring, summer, and fall elite teams. So play with the best. The New Hampshire Tomahawks, showcase and development for college lacrosse. Visit NewHampshireTomahawks.com and girls.nhtomahawks.com. How can you reach your team's fundraising goals at no risk and no cost? MG Sports offers a variety of products to make your team's fundraiser a success. Their products include tickets and discount cards to hundreds of local businesses. MG Sports now has a digital platform where athletes can raise funds in the comfort and safety of their own home. So become another lacrosse program like Bedford, Goffstown, or Memorial that sets fundraising records every season. MG Sports, fundraising made easy. Visit mgsportsfundraising.com to start raising money for your team today.
Dominant season under Coach Bordeaux in just his second year on the job. Of course, he led them to a fourth seed last year. They fell in the quarterfinals to Merrimack.
To Merrimack, yes.
That loss did not sit well with the returning vets.
Not at all.
They came back and really set the tone early. The lone loss, of course, came in the final week of April against BG in overtime. They topped all their out-of-state opponents. They breezed through Dover over the weekend, and now are breezing again here in the semis, 14-1 through three quarters.
And they had a 17.5 goal per game average this year, which topped Bishop Girton by almost a full 3.5 goals. So that's saying something, okay? They didn't play the same schedule that Bishop Girton did, so let's not mistake the difficulty of the schedules, because Chris Cameron does a great job of challenging, and we all know that. We've talked about that ad infinitum. But again, the combination of their offensive prowess and their defensive lockdown capabilities, that's why they were the number one seed and why they took Bishop Girton to double overtime.
Well, I'll tell you what. We're going to be in for perhaps your favorite term, an instant classic, coming up on Saturday as Bedford and BG look like are destined to meet at 5 o'clock.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Coach Cameron looking for his record-breaking 13th state championship with the Cardinals, whereas Bedford in search of their first Division I title in program history.
Yeah, their first final game ever.
Yep.
I don't think they never did make it to the semifinals in Division I since 2015 when they moved up. A couple of quarterfinals, like you said.
Yep.
But never to that level.
So they'll, again, barring a miracle here over the final 12 minutes, will begin to prepare for Bishop Girton, I'm sure, as early as tomorrow.
Yeah, I take that back. They did get to the semifinals against Pinkerton back in 2017.
Okay.
That was my son Brandon's senior year. Oh,
Kahn sees it again. Pretty good move by Scala to shake free, but Kahn read it the whole way. I've got him for 8 stops, Roger.
Kahn?
Yep.
I got him 5, 6, 9. I got him for 10.
10, okay. This time I shortchanged him.
Yeah,
Bedford going to slow it down.
What'd you have in the third, Nick? I had 5.
That sounds right.
I had 5 for him and 5 for Perkins.
So how many for Perkins now? 9 or 10?
I have him for 9.
9. They've both had their moments for sure.
Yeah.
And again, both are young. Perkins, the freshman, Kahn, a sophomore. Perkins again with the stop.
Oh!
And a whistle and a flag on the weak side is thrown. Rough stuff going on away from the ball.
Did not see it. What do we got here?
Only one penalty. It's an unnecessary roughness call, a full minute.
This is going to be a number 1 for
going
Pinkerton.
against Baker. He's played a physical brand of lacrosse tonight, the junior defenseman. But may have gone over the line there on the weak side wing. Meanwhile, 2 minutes gone by in this fourth quarter. Bulldogs looking for a man-up goal here. They've led throughout the night. Out in front 4-1 after 1. 10-1 at halftime. And we are stuck on our 14-1 end of third quarter score.
Yes, he was.
What do we have, offsides?
Yeah, he stepped over. Yeah, that's number 42, a sub.
Coach Gaudreau will take that.
That's Camden Santos.
Some of the reserves on the field now for Bedford. You mentioned Cam Santos, the freshman long pole. Who else is out there? Colby Boyd, a junior. Getting some action defensively for Bedford.
Yep. Will Frangillo.
Will we see Ian Fletcher? Not yet, anyway, as Kahn remains in the goal.
You know, I don't think so. I don't know. Yeah, it's possible, yes. I mean, we saw McDonough in the fourth quarter in the prior game for BG.
Kahn, another stop. Able to wave the wand below the knee. Ground ball to Bedford. However, an errant outlet gets away from Matthews.
Ooh,
Matthews gets knocked down by Santamassimo. Barad ultimately, though, scoops it up for Bedford.
Got to get a touch.
And now Matthews.
I don't know what they're waiting for here. They're not
Only
counting.
4 minutes in. Swim move, leaves it for Kaliza. Passes on the shot. The trailer,
Beautiful.
and then a put.
Beautiful.
Little touch. Almost like a one-timer there for Matthews. That's his 5th goal tonight.
Yeah, from Purnell, and Purnell is that forgotten attackman. You never you never quite keep track of him because he's just stealthy. And Kaliza opts not to take that shot and go down low to Purnell, just a little bit behind goal line extended, and he finds the tall and ever-present Matthews right there in a crowd of red jerseys, and they sink it home.
Bulldogs unselfish there. The passing has been crisp and a well-executed job there by the Bulldogs. 15-1. Bedford widely seen coming into this one, Roger, as the favorite, but I don't think even Bulldog supporters saw this coming.
No. The third game syndrome really made me a little bit skeptical about things, and even during that second quarter when they got a bit lazy, which has been their MO this year, got a little bit concerned that they were going to give up a few in a run to the Astros, but they're just too much.
Meanwhile, big hit and another flag coming against Pinkerton.
It looks like this is number 21.
Master da Casa was decleated.
Yeah, Braden Berry.
And, the senior defender, Braden Berry, headed to the box. Second penalty of the period against Pinkerton.
I think that's their second unnecessary in a row.
And another minute put up on the board.
So we're going to see some rough and tumble stuff here.
Clock continuing to tick.
Yep.
As we're already midway through this fourth quarter. And Saturday's matchup is really all but set at this point between Bedford and Bishop Girton.
So Parker Gupta in there on the man up. Looks like all new numbers in there, except for Kevin Master da Casa.
Yeah, I think both coaches looking to get some of the reserves in here.
Yeah,
and of course the officials now, their job becomes magnified as well. You want to keep it as clean as you can here. You don't want anything chippy, and you certainly don't want an injury in the final 5 minutes.
No, and I think this is a smart move by the Bulldogs, with the exception of Kevin Master da Casa. He's not a starter, of course, but
this one turned over. Henry looking to lead the break for Pinkerton.
Nice play.
2 passes later, it's knocked down out in front of the cage.
Oh, that's going to be a push. Yep.
Yep, flag coming as Henry took a spill. Bodies on the turf here for the final 5 minutes. I believe that's the first Bulldog penalty of the game, Roger. Is that right?
It is, and it's going to be a push against De Jesus. Clear. Nothing ambiguous about that at all.
It's the freshman Jacoby De Jesus.
All right. And Fletcher is in there now.
Yeah, so it looks like Ethan Kahn's night is done. 11 saves unofficially for the sophomore. And only 1 surrendered. That was way back in the first quarter.
All right, so Alex Gabri gets in there. He was a regular last year at midfield.
There's a shot from in close.
And they're going to put Tyler Caparelli, a senior, JV player, got a chance to play some varsity. And good save by Fletcher here.
Yep, his first of the night. See, Paul Gaudreau is in there.
Yeah,
that should be a name familiar
to
Pinkerton fans. That's, of course, Steve's son.
It sure is.
So we've got the coach of Pinkerton and the freshman for Bedford.
Yeah, and we got Brody Blaska, who is Ken Blaska's son from the Timberlane Owls out there. So, yeah, the legacy continues for a lot of these kids. Here we go.
Here's Fletcher way out of the net. Going to pump the brakes and skip it deep far side. Trying to track it out of the night sky and unable to do so is Alex Gabri. Another senior getting some time here for Bedford. Clock ticking down towards 3 minutes. Coming up after this one, a brief post game. A quick recap and a quick preview for Saturday's action between Bishop Girton and Bedford.
Yeah, what can you say? I mean, Bedford was they were a steamroller tonight.
Scored the first 2. Astros got on the board midway through the second quarter, but have been kept off the board since as Bedford continued to expand their lead, led 4-1 after 1, 10-1 at the break, and it was 14-1 coming into this fourth quarter.
One little other little tidbit I want to throw in there about the Gaudreau family. You know, Paul's here, Coach Gaudreau's son. Coach Gaudreau's wife, Kate,
right,
won the middle school championship
in Bedford,
this week
right?
In Bedford as well with her other son.
Lergio Lions, right?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So there's a good legacy there with the Gaudreau family. They are winners and champions in their own right.
Yeah, and Pinkerton's going to be just fine, as we know.
Oh, yeah.
They are on the short list of contenders each and every year. Went to the championship round last year. And, yes, they're going to graduate some of these seniors that we've mentioned, but with Perkins back in net and some of these strong juniors will be seniors next year, of course. Coach Gaudreau has a lot to work with, I think, in 2025.
Yeah, and he's got guys in the pipeline as always.
Right.
So they'll be fine. They'll still be up in the top echelon of Division One.
But their road in 2024 is going to end here.
Yeah.
In the semifinals.
Yeah, they're going to lose some pretty good firepower though. They're going to lose Captain Randy Wong. They're going to lose
Richard Wong.
Richard Wong. I'm sorry. Randy Wong was a goalie when I played club. Believe it or not.
Okay.
Oh, there it is. All right.
Adam Scala will graduate as well.
Yep. Gormady gets one.
Matt Gormady, sophomore. He'll be back. He's going to light the lamp here.
Yep. Yep. They're going to have to do some work on defense. They're going to lose some bodies there.
So that goal makes it 15-2. With inside of a minute, the clock's going to continue to tick down to 40 seconds. So it'll be Bedford and BG. Highly anticipated rematch from late in April. And, well,
Setsoranos gets a win.
That's, of course, a rivalry across sports, boys and girls.
Yes.
So it's going to be fun on this field Saturday, and we're looking forward to the call. Fletcher with a save. It's going to bring the clock down to 5 seconds. Pinkerton looking for one more. Fletcher is going to come up with another stop, and that will do it. The Bedford Bulldogs, in dominant fashion, are headed to their first Division I state championship game in program history. The top seed with a 15-2 victory over Pinkerton as the Astros season comes to an end. This one a dominant performance by a team that went 16-1 during the regular season. You see Coach Bordeaux as excited as any of his players down there on the field. And this historic season continues at least another few days for Bedford as they look forward to facing Bishop Girton, the three-time defending champs, Saturday on this field at 5 o'clock.
Yeah, I can say from experience that this is a really, really good feeling when you come away from the semis knowing that you're going to the ship. But they also understand that they've got some work to do, and they've got a monumental challenge in front of them that they need to rise and come up to play at the level that they did in that first game this past season. But I got to tell you, just adding a little bit to this run that they've been on this year, this all started with the Merrimack loss a year ago. It really did. And, the culture had to change. The feeling within the group had to change. And I got to tell you, these three young coaches, Ryan McDonough, Matthew Howe, and Drew Bordeaux, they got these guys on board, and they got their upperclassmen on board. And this is why you see them at now 18-1 going into the championship game.
We're looking forward to covering it. 5 o'clock is the face-off Saturday. We'll be live here with the rest of our Friday Night Lights New Hampshire crew. I want to thank Coach Ball and his staff here at Exeter for hosting us. My friend Sherm Chester for sharing the booth with us, especially during the rain delay earlier. Our friends over at BC TV and Exeter TV as well for hunkering down during the storm.
Crowded booth. We actually had a police officer in here giving us police protection. We had all your groupies down there yelling Nick Anastas there at halftime.
I think they were keeping an eye on you.
No.
Perhaps,
John Barrett and I got proof that you were getting the Nick Anastas chant, man.
It was a fun day, for sure. Big wins for BG, big win for Bedford, and we're going to see them collide on Saturday. You couldn't ask for a better matchup. Want to thank the NHIAA, Jeff Collins and his staff for working with us all week long.
And getting the games in.
That's right.
Working hard on that.
That's right. And, of course, our friends over at the NFHS Network, as they always do a good job. Don, Boyle, and crew busy this time of year for sure. Our dual videographers tonight, John Barron working overtime. Matt Beals bearing the weather down on the field. Appreciate them. The whole thing orchestrated by the man behind the camera, our director, Ben Beals, back in the Beals Insurance Studios. And, of course, the whole thing overseen by the big man in the big chair, Steve Beals. For Roger Howe, I'm Nick Anastas saying so long. Final score, final time. Bedford 15, Pinkerton 2. This has been a presentation of the 2024 NHIAA Boys Lacrosse Division I Semifinals. Right here on Friday Night Lights, New Hampshire, broadcasting in conjunction with the NFHS Network.